If you or someone you care about has chronic kidney disease, you've probably been told a pretty specific story about what the future looks like. Well, today, we're going to tear that old story up. We're diving into some incredible new research that is completely changing the game, and it offers a much more hopeful, data-driven path forward. So first, let's just get on the same page and talk about the narrative that's been around for decades. It's a story that, let's be honest, can feel pretty heavy and frankly, pretty scary. Yeah, this is the one. You've probably heard this a million times. It basically paints this picture of a one-way street, a condition that's just on this fixed downward track. It can leave you feeling like your health is completely out of your hands. It's a message of, well, that's just the way it is. But here's the question that really changes everything. What if that risk, the one that seems so scary and so certain, isn't actually set in stone? What if you have way more control than you've ever been led to believe? This is where a huge new study comes in, and believe me, it is a total game changer. It gives us the answer to that question. So let's break down the research that's offering this incredible new perspective. And we're not talking about some small little study here. This new hope is built on a massive foundation of health data from over 18,000 people all across the United States. That's a ton of data. Now, inside that giant group, the researchers zoomed in on a specific slice, nearly 2,400 people who were actually living with CKD, and they compared their health outcomes directly to people who didn't have the condition. And this wasn't just a quick snapshot in time. They dug through more than a decade of national data, and they followed these folks for an average of 7 years. That long-term view is so important for understanding what really makes a difference over time. So, you might be wondering, what's the magic bullet here? A new drug? Some crazy new surgery? Nope. The study focused on 7 key health factors, things that are, for the most part, totally within our power to manage and improve. Let's just run through them real quick. We're talking about the fundamentals, managing your blood pressure, your weight, blood sugar, and cholesterol. It's also about staying active, eating a healthy diet, and of course, not smoking. I want you to think of this less like a strict set of rules and more like your personal health toolkit. Okay, so we've got the study and we've got the toolkit. But what happens when people actually start using these tools? Let's get to the results because this is the part where that old, scary story really starts to fall apart. So, the first big thing they found is something called a dose-response effect. Sounds complicated, but it's actually super simple. It just means the more of these factors you get under control, the bigger the positive impact on your health. It's not an all-or-nothing game, which is fantastic news. In fact, get this, for every single additional factor a person with CKD managed to control, the risk of death from any cause dropped by an incredible 19%. That means every little step you take forward makes a real, measurable difference. You can literally see how those benefits just stack on top of each other. I mean, look at this. Controlling even a couple of factors helps, but once you get into that 4 to 5 range, the risk takes a nosedive. And for the people who manage to control 6 or 7 of these factors, wow, their mortality risk dropped by an amazing 59%. And this right here is the headline. The big, mind-blowing takeaway from the entire study. For people with CKD who got 6 or 7 of those factors under control, their extra risk of mortality just vanished. It was gone. Their risk became statistically identical to someone who didn't even have CKD in the first place. I'm going to say that again. The extra risk was totally erased. This is absolutely life-changing stuff. But it immediately brings up another really important question. If this is possible, why isn't it happening for more people? Well, the study also gave us a pretty tough reality check. As of right now, only 1%, just 1 out of every 100 people with CKD is actually in that optimal zone of controlling 6 or 7 of these factors. And I want to be really clear here, this is not about people not trying hard enough. It's not a willpower thing at all. What this really shows is a problem with the system. Our healthcare is often broken up into pieces, which makes it incredibly difficult for one person to try and manage all these different targets at once without some kind of integrated support. And this source article points out that this is exactly the problem that new digital health tools are trying to solve. They're being designed to help people keep track of and manage a bunch of these key factors, from diet to blood pressure, all in one place, giving them the kind of unified support that's so often missing. So where does that leave us? After looking at the old story, the new science, and the real-world challenges, what's the bottom line? What should you really take away from all this today? This right here, this is the new story for chronic kidney disease. It's a story all about empowerment. Your risk is not some fixed destiny written in stone, it's something you can change. Every single little improvement you make actually matters. Those daily actions can add up to totally life-changing results. And you don't have to be perfect. The goal is just gradual, steady improvement. Look, this study does so much more than just offer a little bit of hope. It gives you proof, real hard data. It shows that even if your kidneys aren't perfect, you have the power to write a completely new chapter for your health. Your journey is absolutely still in your hands.